Supreme Court decisions can feel distant, but this week's ruling on President Trump's tariffs will hit your wallet directly. The court struck down sweeping tariffs that have affected everything from your smartphone to your weekly groceries. This isn't just about politics or legal theory, it's about the real cost of living for every American. For years, tariffs meant higher prices for importers and ultimately, for you. Now, the Supreme Court has changed the rules, creating uncertainty for businesses and consumers alike. When the government taxes imports, businesses either absorb the cost, pass it to you, or scramble for new suppliers. The court's decision resets this entire system, leaving everyone wondering what comes next. It's a reminder, decisions in Washington shape your daily expenses and job security. As the nation reacts, big questions loom. What happens to the billions already collected, and what's next for America's trade policy? Understanding this ruling is crucial because it's not just a headline, it's your bottom line. Tariffs are taxes on imported goods, making foreign products more expensive and encouraging you to buy American. If a French wine costs £10, a 25% tariff bumps the price up, and you pay more at the store. Tariffs can protect domestic industries but almost always mean higher prices for everyone. When tariffs are low, you get more choices and lower prices. When they're high, costs rise across the board, absorb costs, raise prices, or find new suppliers. Trump's tariffs weren't targeted. They hit nearly 70% of all imports, touching every sector from tech to agriculture. Retaliation from other countries made things worse for American exporters. This broad approach set the stage for a legal showdown over whether such sweeping tariffs were even legal. Now, that battle has reached its dramatic conclusion. These tariffs began with President Trump invoking emergency powers under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, or IEEPA. Traditionally used for sanctions, Trump used IEEPA to justify tariffs on a massive scale, citing threats from drugs to trade deficits. This was a dramatic expansion of presidential power, one that bypassed Congress's usual role in trade. The administration's move eliminated exemptions and slapped tariffs on thousands of products, disrupting businesses and online shoppers alike. The aggressive use of IEEPA alarmed importers, who saw it as executive overreach. Thousands of businesses joined forces to challenge the president's authority in court. That legal fight would soon reach the highest levels. Importers launched a massive legal challenge, arguing the president had overstepped IEEPA's limits and wielded emergency powers in ways Congress never intended. Their challenge was not just about money, but about the very boundaries of presidential authority. Their case started in the U.S. Court of International Trade, which ruled the administration's use of IEEPA for tariffs was too broad, and risked undermining the checks and balances at the heart of American government. The government appealed, warning that refunding tariffs would devastate the Treasury and disrupt federal budgets, potentially impacting public services and economic stability. The Court of Appeals upheld the lower court, saying Congress never gave the president a blank check to impose tariffs, and that such sweeping power could set a dangerous precedent. With two defeats, the administration turned to the Supreme Court, seeking a fast decision to avoid further economic chaos and uncertainty for businesses across the country. The stakes were enormous: billions in tariffs, the balance of power between Congress and the president, and the future of U.S. trade policy all hung in the balance. The outcome could reshape how America does business with the world. The Supreme Court agreed to hear the case, setting up a historic showdown that would test the limits of executive power. At its core, the case asked, can a president use emergency powers to reshape the entire economy, or must those decisions remain with Congress? The answer would have consequences for every American business and consumer, affecting prices, jobs, and the nation's economic direction for years to come. The legal battle was about more than tariffs. It was about who really controls America's economic future and how far presidential power can reach in times of crisis. The nation waited for a verdict that would ripple through every sector, shaping the relationship between government, business, and the American people for generations. The Supreme Court delivered a clear verdict: the president cannot use emergency powers to impose sweeping tariffs. In a 6-3 decision, justices from both sides agreed that IEEPA doesn't let the president bypass Congress to create new taxes. The majority said Congress wrote other laws for specific tariff powers. IEEPA wasn't meant for this. To rule otherwise, they argued, would give the president unchecked power over trade and taxes. The decision wasn't partisan. It was about the separation of powers and the limits of executive authority. Dissenting justices warned this could weaken future presidents in emergencies, but the majority's view now stands. Years of tariff policy were wiped away, and a new precedent was set. The ruling reasserts that Congress, not the president, controls the nation's economic levers. With the tariffs struck down, the government faces a staggering bill, over £72 billion already collected, and up to £1 trillion in total liability. This is not just a number on paper. It represents a seismic shift in the nation's finances, with the potential to reshape economic priorities for years to come. Refunding this money would be unprecedented, forcing the Treasury to borrow massive sums or slash spending elsewhere, with global economic consequences that could ripple far beyond U.S. borders. International markets are watching closely, bracing for aftershocks. Businesses that paid tariffs see hope for relief, but the refund process will be slow, complex, and bureaucratic. Many companies are already preparing for a long wait, knowing that navigating government red tape is rarely straightforward. Companies are scrambling to gather records and file claims, while financial firms buy up refund rights at a discount, betting on eventual payouts. This has created a new, fast-moving market for these claims, with investors eager to profit from the uncertainty. For importers, selling their claims means quick cash, but less than they're owed. For some, it's a lifeline. For others, a tough compromise. The government's liability, the refund scramble, and the rise of a secondary market for claims all highlight the chaos of a policy built on shaky legal ground. Legal battles are erupting as everyone fights for their share. For many businesses, a refund could mean survival, investment, or new jobs. It's a rare chance to recover from years of financial strain. But for the government, it's a fiscal nightmare. The scale of the refunds threatens to upend budget plans and force difficult choices. The uncertainty is rippling through markets, budgets, and boardrooms. Investors, executives, and policymakers are all on edge, unsure what comes next. The fallout is a stark lesson in the risks of executive overreach. Decisions made in haste can have consequences that last for generations. The refund saga is just beginning, and its effects will be felt for years. The story is far from over, and the next chapter is still unwritten. The economic shockwaves are only starting to hit, and the true impact may not be known for a generation. The Trump administration is scrambling for alternatives, searching for new ways to keep its trade agenda alive after a major legal setback. Officials are now eyeing other laws to reimpose tariffs under different justifications, determined to find a legal path forward. Section 232 of the Trade Expansion Act could be the next tool in their arsenal, offering a way to justify tariffs on the grounds of national security. This law allows tariffs for national security reasons, a broad and often controversial justification that has been used before. Politically, the ruling is a blow to Trump's America First agenda, undermining a key pillar of his trade policy, but it also gives him a new rallying cry against the courts, energizing his supporters and fueling political debate. Critics see the decision as a victory for constitutional limits on executive power, and a rebuke of reckless trade wars that have rattled global markets and strained international relationships. For businesses and consumers, uncertainty remains. Will prices drop as tariffs are lifted, or will new tariffs quickly take their place, keeping costs high and supply chains in flux? The refund process could inject much-needed cash into the economy, helping businesses recover and giving consumers a break, or it could get bogged down in red tape, delaying relief and adding to frustration. The debate over tariffs is far from over. It's now a central issue in Washington and beyond, entering a new, more complex phase that will test lawmakers, judges, and the public alike. Congress may soon rethink how much power it gives the president over trade, weighing the risks and rewards of executive authority. The next chapter will play out in Congress, the courts, and in the daily lives of Americans, affecting your everyday purchases, from groceries to gadgets. This story isn't finished. It's unfolding in real time, at the checkout counter and on the factory floor, shaping the economy and your wallet with every new development.